Oh my goodness.
Because I found Planet Rise in Mind on accident. right as this booted up here.
What is it? Mine World?
It's just the right colors. It's even got the flowers, dude.
Oh, what? What the heck? Whoa.
Look at that. Damn. I didn't... Right as we started the stream, too.
Yeah, we...
Level 2, episode 9. Look at this, got the
Touchdown.
flowers, man. It's got the flowers. This is wild.
It's Planet Ram, dude.
Planet Ram. But I'm gonna shut off the game. We're not doing this
Okay.
right now.
Oh, and the floating platforms, dude. That's very...
Yeah.
That's very, very us in a lot of different ways, right? I mean, that's everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is very us. Yeah.
Well, you know.
Welcome, welcome.
You know, there's not too many ideas out there anymore.
There's
We
not.
can say it's very us, but it's very, very everything.
Yeah, we're not gonna do a.
All right.
We're not gonna do a react to a video game episode.
React. Oh, I can't even react to my own life. I'm still reacting to fucking Centipede
Yeah.
40 fucking 44 years ago.
I got iced coffee.
This game's older than you, man. It's older than you, dude.
Listen. Listen. You're right. It is older than me. You're very right.
That's right. It actually came out in 1980.
Yeah.
It's 1980.
That's 8 years older than me.
Yeah, when you were 8 years. What?
It was 8
When
years
you were-
old when I was
When
born.
I was 8 years. When I was 8, or wait, yeah, when I was
yeah.
1. When I was 1,
Yeah.
you were -8. What the?
What the shit?
Is that actual? Really,
What?
how things can work?
Buster?
And when we go back in time,
Halo Elite
How can
helmet?
oh, what the? What are we talking about?
Buster Clan.
I can see your Halo, Elite helmet.
Dude.
Mm. So,
we're
yeah.
on episode 9. Welcome to episode 9 of Rise and Mind.
Welcome to episode 9. I just got here myself from the couch. I don't even know what time it is. Okay, it's 10. Yeah, that's cool. So this is what happened, dude.
10 o'clock.
I fell asleep like, who knows, probably 5 in the morning. Something crazy. And if I had gotten up, you know, maybe like an hour or two ago,
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, let's go, CP. And if I slept another few hours, it'd be the same thing. But I'm in that special grace period where you get not enough sleep, but not too little. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
Give yourself.
It's like when you're in that delirious state where I could go either way.
some grace, dude.
Some grace? I thought you meant like say grace. I'm like, it's not Thanksgiving yet, motherfucker.
I'm boycotting Thanksgiving.
What? You gotta go hang out with your... Oh, I see.
Yeah. No.
Anyway.
No Thanksgiving and no 4th of July for me. Nope. Done. I'm done.
He's done with it, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that happens anyway for lots of different reasons when we get older.
True.
I'm having a hard time with certain holidays. Like, you were talking about Halloween. Like, oh, my magic, I need it back. My magic's gone all to Halloween now, and I've lost a lot of the Christmas side of it, because now I'm just annoyed because I'm out there trying to buy stuff for, like, work. And I'm at, like, a craft store or Home Depot or wherever I end up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, a week ago, I just walk in here and buy this shit. Now there's like 100 people working here, then 100 people shopping here, and I'm like, what is this world? There was just nobody. 2 weeks ago, there was like some like person standing up front
Oh yeah.
of the, the store, and then there was like 4 of us meandering around. There's like, it looks like Santa's workshop up there. People all spinning around,
4 of
and
us
packages flying everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, meandering.
The
what?
Spirit Halloween. The Spirit. Did you see this? Did you see the video I sent you of Spirit Christmas? And it has like Krampus stuff and like horror mixed with Christmas. I might not boycott Christmas because of that. I'm like, I want a gothic Christmas.
There's been this kind of merging of those two holidays, I think, ever since the Nightmare Before Christmas came out. Like that idea that they're so close, and they do get separated by the turkey, and it doesn't feel like it does anymore though, because it's all at the same time. And I think they're just gonna like roll it all out the most they can together. I've seen a lot of like gray over since then, but the Spirit Halloween's awesome.
Yeah.
There's like 10 of them out there, and I wish there was one around here, because it's just like Spirit Halloween. It's it's edgier and funnier and
Buster Clan in the house. Buster Clan.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to the subject yet. In fact, we might be. I might be waiting for CP to say a word that jogs my memory of what I even want to talk about today.
He's like asking me. It's like the secret word.
I'm not asking you. I'm just gonna let you talk.
I'm just gonna say it, and he's gonna be like, "That's the secret word."
Today's word is. Yeah, Thanksgiving doesn't feel quite right to me anymore. It feels bad. It has the last couple years. I'm not just recent events, Not just recent events. Last couple years I've kind of wanted to boycott.
I just see some uncle out there, like he's got his coffee or his mixed drink,
Yeah.
and he's smoking his butt, on the porch, or he's underneath the eave or something, getting out of the rain.
Yeah.
And then you could just hear Sarah McLachlan, "I will remember you," and it's like black and white, and it's just like you're not gonna see Uncle John blasting a butt like, "Are you bad, Matt? How's everything going?"
Yeah.
You're not gonna see those wonderful times.
I'm gonna miraculously be very, very sick. Sorry, guys, I can't get sick.
You already broadcasted it.
They don't watch this.
They're gonna be like, "I saw him on that super fucking popular show, Rise in Mind, just feeling good, feeling good as hell."
You know what I saw? I saw a video recently of a couple of Democrats talking, and I'm not gonna like get too down that rabbit hole. More just. One of them was asking the other, "Where's the Democrat podcast?" And I'm just like, like this is we could be the Joe Rogan, but we're not. We just haven't taken off yet. I think it's gonna happen, dude.
I don't know, dude.
We're gonna take off like crazy. People are gonna be like, "Oh my god, that Rise of Mind thing." They talk about stuff and things, and I like to listen about stuff and things, so I'm listening to that podcast.
I think the problem is though, my centerist natures are gonna get too thick, and then I'm gonna go full outlaw and pull you into the dark side of doomsday prep.
Dude, centrism is now the radical left. It's gone so far the other direction that centrism is.
It's a mixed bag, because some people didn't and some people did. The centerists tend to go one way more, but not everybody. It was weird.
You're true.
Well, we don't have any answers for this place anymore.
I don't.
I'm gonna let America just raw dog it for a while. I feel like I'm not really part of the plan, or or the plan that I have doesn't make any
Turkey
sense,
legs,
and
man. Turkey legs.
we're just going to someone else's party, and I guess I'm bringing something.
DP,
as casserole or some shit.
what is cozy?
What is cozy?
What is
Me
cozy to
about
you?
fucking 15 minutes ago,
2 minutes ago.
lying in the sun on the couch watching Spacey stream. I haven't seen, and I'm just like,
Dude,
this could be the rest of the day.
dude, Foster just jogged my memory about something. It's not what I really want to talk about today, but it was funny because I've been saying this for years. Someone will say, "Oh, living the dream," and I'll say, "Whose dream?" And normally I haven't really gotten the reaction that I expect, and I got the reaction I expect the other day. I was in a store. Oh yeah, the thrift store with Stacy. I was hanging out with Stacy in the thrift store, and we were buying stuff. And she was carrying a ton of stuff because she buys stuff for her shop. And like made some comment about her pile of stuff. And he turned around. Someone asked him how he was doing, and then he said, living the dream." And then I said that. I said, "Oh yeah, but you got to make sure it's your dream you're living." And I think it's that change of the way that I say it. I think that's what got the reaction. He goes, "Oh man." Like, I was like, I didn't mean to send you into existential dread there. He's like, "No, you just got me thinking about every choice I ever made." I'm like, "Sorry, dude." Like you probably spent a long time working for someone else, like most of us do. He said, "Yeah, and it's his dream that I was living." I'm like, "Yeah."
That is very true.
Yeah.
I posed the question to my father one time when I was doing some work with him. It's really interesting, and this is something that I think I might revisit down the road. I was like, "Hey, can you define the American dream as for you? Like what you see it as?" And he had some really interesting answers. And then I was like, "What if you did that? What if you just went around and started asking people what that is?" Because a lot of people will say that very loosely, like, "Yeah, it's a conversational thing. Hey, what's going on, boss?
Hey man, hey boss.
Work, yeah, just like gas station shit.
Hardly working, or working hard, or hardly working.
Yeah, are you working hardly?
Are you working
hard? I don't know. Are you working hardly? Who's hardly? You or the guy? I don't know.
Actually,
I'm one of the hardly boys. I'm one of the hardly boys.
My brain keeps swimming around this subject matter, right? So very similar to what I want to talk about today. So have you ever actually sat down and analyzed the lyrics to David Bowie's "Under Pressure"?
Under pressure. I mean, that's all I can think of right now. And that's the one with Freddie Mercury, though. Freddie Mercury's in that shit.
Yeah, and he had Freddie Mercury's part in that song. It's so funny to me too, because he's just making noises in the background. I think I want to talk about that because that coincides with this subject.
I think they layer their vocals sometime. I'm trying to think of it now. The senses talking about somebody
they do harmonies. But
pressure.
Seriously though, dude, if you want to talk about that, we can go right into Breaking Ground because that's fun, I think.
What, Under Pressure?
Yeah.
Sure. Under pressure.
You have to fix your camera again.
What the fuck's up with my camera?
It keeps moving around my computer, and then whenever it switches to a different screen, its scale changes. Messes up the formatting. All right, so
do you have just a bunch of scenes you can flip in and out?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But every time I switch the scene, it goes back to the reference, which is referenced source instead.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird because you do it through Discord and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I
Are you out of here?
might start using StreamYard for our thing though, for this show, because that will keep it the same size every time.
I could just picture a main commercial for that.
Yeah.
What does StreamYard do?
It just syncs up the camera and the voice properly.
Oh. Having problems with your computer? Well, get yourself some. What was it? Stream Shark? What would you say? Street Shark?
Street Sharks. Yep.
What was it? Stream.
Nope, it's Street Sharks now.
StreamYard. You said StreamYard, right?
Yeah, it's StreamYard.
There you go. Fix your computer. Get yourself StreamYard. My buddy's voice was all over the fucking place, but then I got StreamYard. I got myself some StreamYard. Let me tell you. See, there. Let's get a sponsorship from them. The only streams I used to know is brook fishing, but hey, once I got StreamYard, it all sorted out, buddy.
Dude.
Street Sharks, yeah.
The lyrics start.
Coster Clan was part of the. I think Coster Clan was part of the Street Sharks. Oh, maybe that was Oyster Clan. I don't know, bro.
Bada. Doom badia. Badia.
Come on, you don't know that?
Ba baby.
Google Bum?
No, do boo bum ba baby.
Do boo bum Google my baby. Google Gaga lady.
Look.
What? I switched that around in a
what?
weird way. Google Gaga lady.
What?
All right.
Look.
But beat 'em. Yeah,
Here's the lyrics, guys. Look, this is what we're
about. No one is.
This is what we're doing today. Because I've been feeling under pressure lately, and the song came up when I was scrolling on TikTok, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I get it. Suddenly I just got it. And
well, that was like my Hey Now song, because everyone knows that song. They're like, hey now, it's like a goofy song. But when you listen to it, it's a really wild, multi-layered song that speaks volumes to me. But when you sit down and listen to stuff, these songs that have been in when you challenge anything that has been in your life, I've had so many epiphanies. You think you know everything sometimes because you've just lived here so long and you've seen the time.
Yeah.
So many times at this point in my life, I'm like, I just realized what the fuck that meant. I do that all the time. Absolutely the same thing where it's just like, something that we've said or thought about every day or a name for something. You're like, oh man, I know why they call that.
Yep.
And you just feel like, it feels amazing because it took you your whole life for this simple thing that has always been sitting there. It's like the killer that sits in plain sight, You've been there the whole time. Some cool shit like that. But man, that's been happening a lot to me lately. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe once you get around this point in your life, you'll be having dopamine epiphanies all day. It helps, it's like helps keep the drive going, but it's like, oh man, I didn't even realize. Oh, you know what? That in that movie was really about this. Did you notice that the logo of the Bounty tissue actually is, shit like that, like Slim Jim? You really look at stuff. Like, I didn't understand. We've talked about this before too with logos. Like how logos have a very specific kind of architectural way they're designed. Man, I was looking at a Slim Jim wrapper. It says Slim Jim, and then they they line up the L's. They line everything up.
How slim is Jim?
So they run together, but then essentially they make a long Slim Jim. So it's like the text represents the object itself. And sometimes you just look at this stuff and you're like,
Yeah.
Oh, what? That's always been there? Because it was. Like,
It's
you
always
stop
there.
asking why, especially when things came before you. And it's like, oh no, it's always just been there. And then one day you're like, well, why do people actually like this song? Why is this movie actually good? Oh, it's still relevant? Oh. I watched Jaws for the first time in 2020, and it's like, it made more sense because they're trying to close down beaches. There's a deadly shark out there. We can't shut down the 4th of July. We have a lot of money tied up into this stuff, and I'm sitting there in the middle of the pandemic like, yeah, this is a good fucking movie. It holds up. It holds up.
Well, it's like that movie Don't Look Up. But it was
Yeah,
it was
I
so
still have to see
surreal.
that.
So surreal.
We'll
You're
see
gonna
if
have the
that
same
holds up
feeling.
over time, right? Yeah.
But let's break it down. So we're gonna analyze the lyrics to Under Pressure today on Rise. I also
Beat up, boop, boop, bada bob.
got a handful of changes to the share screen here. As he's very zoomed in.
Oh, weird. I
and then we got the cat cam is a little bit bigger, and I put our little mine shafts up there. So now like the browser source is a little bit more.
I wanna make my bed in Matt's mine shaft. I wanna get out back and lay some track.
So this song is cheerful when you first hear it. But then when you look at the first bridge, that's the terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends screaming, "Let me out."
Mm-hmm.
Right, tomorrow gets me higher. Pressure on people on the streets. It's like this is like so poignant for this time period. Like I'm feeling a lot of pressure recently, which is why the song hit me so hard. I have this pressure in my mind to excel, to be like so much more than I am.
Yeah, and the older you get, the more you'll feel that tension and desperation,
Yeah.
and it'll either make or break you.
Well, like I think
you're gonna have to deal with whatever the reality aftermath is.
Not to jump to the punchline, but I do think that the solution is to just let it go and just like because if you let you're gonna always think that you're running out of time. There's no such thing as time.
Yeah, we're all just along for the ride, and it starts when it started. It stops when it stops.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Go check out our episode called Time on YouTube. If you want to know why time doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist for our ADHD asses. That's why we're trying to debunk the math of time. It's like, oh yeah, I'm never late. I'm never late, dude. Time's an illusion.
Debunk these nuts.
That's right.
No.
8 o'clock? More like go back to bed o'clock.
Like, in all seriousness, these lyrics are like depressing, but the song itself is cheery. Very cheerful.
Yeah.
I'm expressing into the cat cam here like how much this matters to me. No, seriously though, let's do that first. Watching some good friends screaming, "Let me out." This last week, I've witnessed a lot of friends want out and sad. I'm not going to get into why because I don't want to our show about that. But Pray Tomorrow Gets Me Higher. People are just trying to find an escape. That's very poignant for this time period as well. A pressure on people on the streets. I work in that field. There's a lot of people on the streets. They have a lot of pressure on them as well. And then Queen comes in, da da da, da da da, ba-dum, ba-bum.
Oh, Freddie. Ba-da-boo. Beat up, 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 beat up. I just lost the cap to this marker. I don't even know how I got this marker in my hand. And a tote just slid down and landed on my foot. So there's a lot happening over here at the Dreamers Arcade. While I'm absolutely doing nothing in this chair.
There's a lot happening.
Except we're trying to figure out this beat up, boop, beat up, About a year.
Tipping around, kicking my brains around the floor. These are the days. It never rains, but it pours. And then you come in with that's your part, CP.
Beat up, up.
close enough.
Oh, I'm not even looking at the thing. Wait, where's that?
I'm highlighting it for you too.
Oh, you're way down there. Bop, beep, bop, ba boom, bop, blah, bop, 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 eat up, yeah.
What are you doing?
People on the streets, boom, bop, ba eat a, beep, da 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 dee da, hey, la la dee da.
Close enough. That's great. I thought you were breaking into Hanson there for a second.
No, that was my mix. No, what was that? Dropping around, kicking. I don't even know which part this is. It's like, that's the terror of knowing what the world is about. Watching some good friends as they're working out.
He comes in with
sweaty shorts, smelly pits, but we don't give a fuck about the shit.
Oh,
yeah.
Emily talked about we should talk about love today. But
Jeez.
I'm thinking he comes back
we
in.
should talk about love today.
Yeah, but like
she's leaving.
I
don't know.
But
I don't have my keys.
I want to talk about this instead because
they're in the.
Comes back
hold
in.
on, they're in. They're in the jacket or something. Oh wait, she's trying to find my keys.
Okay.
They're either in that pair of pants on the ground. This is the thing. We're gonna do the mystery hunt.
Okay.
The keys. She got them. Okay.
I haven't heard them.
Got them. What the fuck? All right.
Okay, so this next bridge turned away from it all like a blind man. I went through my own denial. I went through a lot of my own, throughout my life, there were times of denial. I am. Good day. And there's been a
can't see you anyway because there's no screen.
There's been a lot of times in my life where I tried to just pretend something wasn't there, like I ostriched, head in the sand. And it was another thing. Hard sat on the fence, but it don't work. Coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. Because why love? Sanity laughs under pressure. We're breaking.
Dude, you just turned into Julia Stiles from 10 Things I Hate About You all of a sudden.
Can we do this like a slam poet from an LA nightclub?
You were reading. You remember when she reads that poem in the classroom, and it was so sweet. I remember at the moment because I was a kid, back when Heath Ledger was in his prime,
Heath Ledger,
not his prime.
Heath Ledger,
but back when there was a Heath Ledger time, she reads this really cringy poem, and if you watch it now, it's man, but it was just the way you had read that verse. It sounded like I don't even know where we are in that.
Dude, it's the terror of knowing. No, turned away from it all like a blind man. So if I were to read this in a cringy slam poet way, it's turned away from it all like a blind man.
Why would but I don't
sat on the fence,
on
but it don't work. Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. No, turned away from it all.
How do you turn away like a blind man? How do you turn away like a blind man? That's the thing. A blind man doesn't need to fucking turn away because he's blind. Why would a blind man be I don't want to see this?
Well, look.
Why would he do that? Would he just be I don't want to see this?
He's basically saying I don't. He's saying I don't want to see this. That's what that phrase means. Turned away from it all like a blind man means that I don't.
But I think
he wants to.
I think that's degrading to a blind man.
He wants to
because a blind man's no coward.
Well, I'm gonna analyze.
Blind man doesn't need to turn away.
I'm gonna analyze this like a like an art teacher analyzes a painting that actually has no meaning, but he's trying to find meaning. He's trying to say that he's been.
I'll find meaning, dude.
He's been blind. He's turning away from it as if he's been blind his whole life. That's what he's saying.
Blinded by the light.
Yeah.
Wrapped up like a douche.
Sat on the fence, but it don't work. Keep coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. So like, have you ever felt like that as well? You ever felt like
Yeah,
you loved really hard, but it just lays at your feet in pieces?
it's futility. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just but more so. They feel like a younger kind of vibe to me. I don't know how were they like in their 20s when they were doing this stuff, but it just feels because we think of like those guys as old people. I think of them actually as dead people right now because they're not alive, and that's wild too. Because we're getting their message, and reworking
yeah.
it, and it's like
These
becomes
guys,
that
these guys
interpretation of history and the philosophers. But they're always just young people. When you look at like the
yeah.
age of how like
These
people
guys
were.
are straight up skeletons, man.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of were when they were alive, but no offense, guys.
Yeah. So what do you think about he goes why love, and then there's like a pause in the song, and then it says insanity laughs under pressure we're breaking. I feel like these lyrics that Google came up with, I think that they are lacking some punctuation. Oh,
Where's the rise in mind part?
rise in
Something
mind part.
blah blah from the underground. It says something about the underground. Oh no, wait, maybe that's from the.
It's coming up. We're in the breaking ground right now. We're going
Does he say
through.
we're going in underground? Maybe that's a different.
Oh no, it's a different song.
Anyway.
It doesn't have anything
God
about the
damn it.
underground.
Bowie,
It has the
your song,
the under
you're
pressure.
you're a featured artist on Rise in Mind. We're talking about the underground here, Dave.
Sorry, Craig. we don't got no underground lyric here.
Mom, in the underground. No, let's say.
So the next verse changes.
That's why I didn't understand the lyrics because that's what they sound like.
This is why I love the writing from this time period. Is the chorus completely changes to match the feeling of the last lyric. Sanity laughs under pressure, we're breaking, and then he goes, "Can't we give ourselves one more chance? Why can't we give love that one more chance? Why can't we give love, give love, give love, give love?" And love, give love,
Give it love, give it love, give it love, give it love, give it love, give it love, give it love, give it love.
CP,
So, yeah.
CP, please be kind to those listening in the car.
Yeah, give it up. You guys love it.
But this is the reason why I wanted to
It's
talk
just
about
like
the
having
song.
Bowie and Mercury wrapped up into one right here, right?
Yeah.
Where'd the fucking cap to this pen go? That's actually what I'm more curious about than anything right now.
Where the fucking cap did this pen go? This is the story of my life, dude.
It's a constant plaguing dilemma, and a lot of good markers die early. They don't need to. Put on your goddamn helmet, son.
It is so distracting.
You'll die out there of exposure.
Let's we're almost done the breaking ground here. Let's do this last verse, this last section of the song. That is the whole reason why I wanted to talk about it. Love's such an old-fashioned word. Love dares you to care for the people on the edge of the night. Love dares you to change your way of caring about ourselves. This is our last dance. Then he that ourselves under pressure. Like when you're under pressure, that is when you are being dared to love people who are at their worst. I think that's what he's saying. I could be wrong. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about artists who have passed away. We can't interview them.
Well, a lot of, I mean, that's really an interesting thing too. Like when you analyze music, because there's context too, like what was going on in the times when they were alive,
Yeah.
what was going on in their personal lives. So there's like what age were they? There's certain contexts that you can kind of already figure out just by the historical timeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, since they're gone, it's not like you walk over and like, hey, what does this mean? But there is a lot of interviews and stuff where musicians will break things down or maybe even tell like their interpretation of things. And I always feel like that ruins it. And I would come up with different interpretations for music because I was an imaginative person. Ever since I was a kid, I would do this. But then I met people throughout my life that would be like, oh, well, the songwriter meant this. It was about this in their life. And it was like, yeah, but to me, it meant this. And a lot of people didn't understand it when it's like, oh, it's only about the facts, Jack. This is what they said it's about. But it's interpretive. Like a good song like this, your answer's right. It's right for you. It's right for other people. But there's so many different ways that you can like spin stuff. Yeah. And we talked about the American Dream. Well, American Dream is a concept just like love.
Yeah.
And love is so intangible. Like, what is love and all this stuff?
Maybe don't
like,
hurt
what
me.
does it all mean? Yeah, I know. Think about a whole generation of people that go towards that. Like, I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, because you heard it in your head, and then I said it, right?
Yeah, but a boomer's not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be like, Dad, what is love? He's not gonna be like, baby, don't hurt me.
He's gonna be like, love. That's some gay shit there.
No, he'd be like, It's just doing the what is love? Yeah,
I think. Well, honestly, if you were to actually walk up to Dad, and love, they'd probably give you just obvious. They probably wouldn't have a reference. Like referential humor is very much a millennial thing. Not just millennial. Yeah. I mean, there are referential humor examples throughout all of history, but I have so much of my personality that I wish that I had cultivated a personality instead of just memorized memes on it.
Or boomers don't get any love for referential humor. Come on, man. They had their shit too, dude. Sure. Fucking walking around. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator came out. They with their kids and their wife be like, "Oh, I gotta go out to the car. I'll be back."
You're right though. Yeah.
Everybody. Where's the beef? All these commercials and stuff that people quote and become part of their.
Or was that Gen X? Did it start?
Those boomers.
Start with Gen X?
No, Gen X were too little. Like, because first Terminator, I think the first Terminator actually came out like in 79 or something. So when I was born, so
they did a whole spoof movie about the Terminator, though. My friend Scott had such a good Arnold impression that we did an entire spoof movie, and I watched it 2010, and then even at that time I was like, wow, we made some jokes that were really not okay. We were some uninformed asshole kids when we made that movie.
Yep.
Oh man, but no, back to our subject here. Like, you're right about it being interpretive and art being something that is up to interpretation. But his time period, this but is a pretty big caveat. So like, I still believe that everyone's interpretation is valid, but I think his time period that this was written in has a lot of parallels with our time. I feel like my interpretation of it, given the time that I'm living in, there might be a lot of people that share this interpretation, that it is really about loving people at their worst and trying to find common ground with people, even because it's like everyone's just a product of their time. Most part.
Well, yeah, and history repeats itself, and it's that same idea when you're like, oh, we are very referential, like as people, but maybe the references weren't from movies. Maybe they were more from newspaper, or people just had different sources. Like we reference video games. You're not going to see a lot of boomers referencing video games.
Right.
You can always talk about boomer stuff, because think about, like, you're talking about like this. What you're listening to right now is boomer reference.
Yeah.
That this is their stuff.
This was when
the
they were
Terminator
teens, right?
movies in the 70s and 80s are their stuff, like it is ours now. So everything that like we're getting now is what was like for them. So like, I don't know what the latest movie that come out, but whatever, you know, they're just getting Terminator fresh. They're technically Schwarzenegger's their dude. They're like the same. They're similar in age, maybe 10 years here, that different, but that was their jam. And for us, Schwarzenegger was a monolithic He-Man, so he took on this cartoon status for us, and like he's more of a superhero and less of an actor and a person. But yeah, because you could think about it, like all the stuff that boomers to this day probably reference. You know, boomers got movie quotes too. Boomers got movie quotes, dude.
They do. Do they use them?
We're gonna need a bigger boat. How many times a boomer said that, dude?
Very right. I just
Jaws.
I think the difference for me personally, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like I used quotes, as a replacement for developing a personality. I'm insecure about that. I wish I had spent more time trying to actually just be me instead of just quoting stuff all the time.
Well, that's a transition. Like, it's not that like your life is about to cease. You know, it's levels and stages. And at this point, I'll say, like, I remember where I was, and it's a lot of this kind of stuff. It's like self-discovery, and a lot of it's through just looking at things differently, like listening to a song differently, like taking the time. And I've stretched it for years now, that idea of those values and understanding what applies to you and what your values are. Everything that, the longer you hold on to that, those values will be like supported by everything that's coming out or ever existed.
Yeah.
And it'll just become your logical narrative. Unfortunately, that's why we kind of butt heads as people, because people get very invested in years of, well, I didn't really know who I was in my 20s. I started to figure it out in my 30s. My 40s, I really tried some shit and got out there and gave it a go. It either made or break me. And then it's a decision. Like, am I just going to try as hard? I'm going to sit back, like you said, and just enjoy the ride. Because you start to realize the time frame and things mean things differently to you. And you and I are the type of guys who like to try to code and figure things out. And it's really much more intense. I think it becomes this thing that starts popping up early. Like, I remember my 20s starting to get that understanding and that shift, and thinking about values and different politics. And then it's like, I want to try a little bit of everything. But then you realize some of the stuff you don't like, and some of the stuff is more authentic or genuine to what you really want to promote as a person, or what little you can promote, what the small things you can do. They become more and more important. Sometimes it's people through, you know, the world that they set up around them, the thing that they try to protect. And it's always changing. But I found, like, when I started getting in my 40s, and then I started to like a lot of it started to crash onto the floor, because it's just like, no, isn't that important, dude? And no, your runtime of your movie is half over. You know, you can you better this next round, this is it. You're gonna either do something or you're just not. And that feeling is, I think, the thing that really separates.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. I think that's a great way to go into the deep dive. I love that.
Let us go into
diving. Beggy, I want to give you a hug, dickhead.
Deep dive down in the mines.
Down, down, and I'm spinning around. Sugar, we're going down. Viking,
Going down Viking.
I'll be your number one with a jackhammer.
Switch to orange in my background.
Cool. No Inky. No Inky.
She left. She's done. She unfortunately came under some sexual harassment lawsuit. Fire.
Inky.
Yeah, she was
Inky and the lawyer.
She was licking my elbow.
Bagel is an aggressive groomer.
Aggressive groomer. Oh, that could mean so many things under the context I was just thinking.
We're talking about cats, and their style is to bathe and lick with their tongue. But Jesus Christ, I can't dig my way out of that one in any way.
And I'm just joking, dude. I don't actually think that. It's just more like the context with what we were saying. It's just too funny to me.
No, he'll give people baths, and then he'll be like, "I'm not done," and grab on. Be like, "I wasn't finished with that section."
Yeah.
He'll grab his brother Cheese, and he'll just like sometimes put his claws on him, like, ha 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 ha. And then I think sometimes he just starts biting him.
Yeah.
It's like, because he's like, "You're not gonna get groomed. You're not gonna get groomed. Eat your face." And I was like, "Cheese, Bagel." And I see like tufts of orange hair coming out of his mouth. And he's like, "Calm down, dude." Aggressive bathing. What? Jesus, you can't say aggressive with any other word.
I know it changes it a lot, doesn't it?
I could say aggressive painting. That doesn't aggressive drawing. That's cool.
Down to
Art's
Goblin
fine.
Town. We are going Goblin mode a little bit here, just from that.
Yeah, I'd like to go Goblin mode on some breakfast. Fuck.
Breakfast.
Breakfast. House. Alone. I'm alone. Hello.
Where'd you go, dude?
I thought I thought I heard a noise, like a radio or something, but
That you heard
because
a
I'm
noise?
yeah, I was like, I'm all alone.
No one here beside me.
But then I heard this noise, and I looked up in the camera monitor, and yeah, the car's gone. And
Car's gone.
hey, if anyone's like super like tense and hyperactive, like your buddy CP, just get yourself a camera that looks out at your yard and that you can see from a room.
Helps a little bit, yeah.
It helps a lot. And when I walk down the hallway, I can actually see what's out front instead of like ducking down and looking through a window. And I'm going to put one out back too. So then it's like when I'm in here drawing, I'm not paranoid. I don't think the world's coming to get me, but I don't want to sneak in. Yeah. I feel a little under pressure.
Because we're down in the mines. Like, let's talk more about that dive here. We can sort of touch on aspect of it where it's up to interpretation, but the artist did have an intention that we might not ever.
But does that intention even matter? That's the other part.
It never matters.
Because I like a lot of creators, and this is the thing in today's world that I don't know. You're either good at or you're not. Just content and a creator, and that division, like people that create stuff, but then they find out like, oh, that person was a piece of shit. The only trouble is like the art and whatever they created, and whether it was some kind of ideological foundation or just the fact that it was a bad human being, so it must be rooted in some kind of bad spot in reality. It doesn't mean really that, because if you saw that piece of media and you were like, oh wow, and then you were inspired by it, and then maybe that was part of your influence and you created media from it, it still had its impact. It's like the song Under Pressure still has its impact. I mean, how the hell do we know? It's we're in 2024.
Yeah.
What these people were saying, what, 50 more than 50 years ago? And I know the context of the world then and stuff, and it's the boomers version of where we're at now. So think about that. At a point back then in the 70s and the 80s, you know, boomers were just doing the same thing. A lot of them were, you know, there's a war going on. There's crazy shit. They had their own stuff to deal with. But now I look at them, this is the weird thing, and I'm like, this is what also the perspective of what happens when you get older and you're like in your 40s. All of a sudden you start to look and go, oh, I'm like my dad now. I used to call people like middle-aged men, and now so what are the people I used to call middle-aged men? Well, they're old. But what type of old?
Old.
And I'm like, well, 60 and 70 isn't old. It's like, well, some of them are getting, some are 80, and then you start to redefine what age is. Because when you're young, anyone, you're 18 or something, everybody's old. When you're a little kid, everybody's like an adult.
Now I look at people in their teens though, and they do look like babies. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, dude, we have cops in our town now that I'm like, is this for real?
This kid is telling me what to do here.
Is this like? I mean, They don't. That's the thing. Like dealing with police when you're young is way different than an older guy. Like, I mean, case by case, depending of the situation. But in this silly little rural town, it's just like, I'm just like a middle-aged dude driving around. Like,
dude, every now and then.
Be like, hey, dude, all right, I'm just headed to my house. And like, yeah, slow it down or something. You know, it's not like when you're 20, drugs in there and stuff, and they go all hard on you and shit, you know? Like, because they think, you know, you're screwing off. I mean, you could be as an adult, but then people are just like, oh, no, that couldn't be. That's a responsible adult over there wearing a pizza hat. He's just part of the human world doing his dorky white thing.
Part of the human world.
But you never know, because like I've been dealing with a lot of people who are in their 20s now too, and I think they think we're in a different realm, dude. They're like, oh, when I was doing this, she was saying something about like, oh yeah, when I was you guys talk about partying and stuff like that, and I feel like I didn't do any of that, and that's the boat, and she started her career, and I was like,
I was a young boy.
I mean, we're all sitting here romanticizing party and stuff like that, and I just don't. I should have told her at the moment, but it comes off a little dark for the lighter moment that it was. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we did all that stuff, but I watched a lot of people die. You know, it isn't a beautiful lifestyle. You know, it's like for everything you get, you know, you lose, and vice versa. So she wanted this so bad, but she was also acting like we were in a different realm of age. It's like, dude, right now I'm nostalgic about being your age right now. Like, as you're being nostalgic about a kid,
right?
Like, I'm thinking about my 20s a lot lately.
I want to
like it was just yesterday.
I got to interject a little bit on this because I don't feel that. I think something happened in my youth that I didn't actually get to young. And like I could get into some like really dark personal stories that led to that. But one of the biggest reasons I say that is because
want to get real. I want to get hard.
Look, I don't feel 36. I don't feel
you're never gonna feel it.
I don't feel 18 either. I don't feel, and when I was 10, I don't even remember what that feels like. I feel
We
like I felt.
we didn't have the concept, no
Right.
concept.
But I want to
The
go.
world is being built for you in real time
wanna go a
when
little-
you're 10.
I want to go a little deeper for it with it though. When I was 10, I didn't empathize or sympathize with other 10. I felt 18 when I was 10.
Fair enough.
That's where this changes a little bit. Is that I did not feel like I wasn't like, you know, all poop and fart jokes. So we touched on this when we first started doing the podcast. How when I was a kid, I was thinking about the universe and my place in it, and all the other kids were eating dirt. And I'm like, I'm not trying to say I was smarter.
You're funny.
Yeah, I was.
You're funny.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say I was smarter than them. I know that can come off as pretentious.
No,
it's more just like
it's just the line.
I cared about different stuff than they did.
Because it's the same way today.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts. And you start to realize that when you're around people, you're like Thanksgiving, a perfect example, right? You're like, okay, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna be there? All right, I'll go. I haven't seen this person a lot. I'll sneak outside with this person, and you know, you start to figure out your strategy and who you're gonna talk to and how you're gonna get the most fun because you know who's gonna be there and who you can hang out with. And then there's just people where you're like, yeah, I'm not playing cards in the kitchen. That's not a vibe for me. Like, because whatever's going on in there. But then, you know, you give me shit for smoking, which is fair. It's good. But it's like, I realized that's a product of my life, because when I would go to Thanksgiving and these things, I don't like the whole party thing where it's like bouncing off people. I can do it really well, and I do it now. But I started with just being like, yeah, I just want to go outside and talk to a person. There's a lot going on here. Yeah. And it's loud in here, and it's crowded, and I'm going to go outside. And guess what? There was always an uncle out there blasting a butt.
Always an uncle.
Sometimes, and they're both dead. Full disclosure, don't smoke, kids. They're both dead. But yeah,
not touching that one. That's what I'm trying to tell you, not to smoke, and that's exactly why.
Although my grandfather is the oldest living male in my family, and he smoked too. So, but he lived to be 94.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was on the other. That wasn't blood, dude. Those were in-laws. Those were fucking married in. Those were married in, dude. Those were married in dudes who came along and they died of smoking because they didn't have my blood. It's so awful.
They didn't have.
So you can tell.
They didn't have your blood.
I got a real not giving a fuck sense about me coming in, but that's part of the reason. I need to be able to do something where at any moment, like my dad, I can just go the fuck away with going to have a cigarette. I could be walking around the fucking woods. You have no idea. I could be outside like, fuck the world. I could be outside looking at the snow. No, that's just Clint going out having a cigarette. Oh, he's been gone a long time.
Yeah.
I had a couple. I had a pack. No, but I would always talk to like the uncles and the kind of the weirder dudes and people who were probably more introverted, and they were less about the bigger group, and they'd talk philosophy with a 13-year-old kid.
That's
I mean, come on, that's us. Like we're the person who would entertain that. Like, you know, we would be that uncle. I am that uncle now, who's standing out there like, yo, CP, what's going on, kid? What you working on? You making any art? You know, I would be that guy.
You are that guy.
I took over that role, but it's like, that's why sometimes I go, dude, why are we fucking worried about it so much? I just became what I always was going to become. Like the look of me. You think this is accidental? Like this flanneled, big glasses, cap, bearded guy. My dad had a friend, Bob, who looks so much like this. And I go, that dude's badass. That dude will fuck you up. I like that guy because people make me upset and they always yell at me and make me scared. So I'm going to look like the biggest fucking monster I can think of. I'm Bob, Big Bob Williams, motherfucker.
Where's this coming?
Don't you be fucking around with me. Yeah, don't you be fucking around.
CP.
That was like Bob. He'd always have a cigarette hanging as well.
CP, where does this?
Fucking Ernie, come on, yeah. This fucking guy told him.
I gotta reel you in
But-
a bit, CP. Where's this connect to Under Pressure? I was just waiting for it. I'm like, he's gonna come to it eventually.
Put me under pressure. This is why. No,
All right, that was a cough. That was a cough. No, I was just I was curious if the story. I thought I lost the story where the story connected. That's why I'm asking. I was like, wait, there's this. Wait a minute.
So we're this idea, because we were also talking about how, because last week we were talking about metaphysical stuff, or no, manifestation.
Yeah.
And there's more that I can add in the here.
Yeah.
Manifestation kind of poked its head back up again, and there's something I'd probably even tell you off camera, because it's a weird political ideology that I've come up with through manifestation, why certain things have happened. And it's great because it kind of helps with the stress of that. And more of what I was saying about me kind of creating this persona of Big Bob, and my uncles who would be outside in solitude and want to talk about philosophy.
Yeah.
And 80s wrestlers. Like, I had the things that I didn't want in my life, and I had to figure out how to get them away from me. And then I found the things I did want in my life. So whether I manifested them or just kind of was inspired, I knew that I wanted to be these certain things ever since I was a kid. And I never thought most stuff was ever going to happen in my life. And at some point you wake up and you're like the Cars or Talking Heads, like, how did I get here in this house with my wife and my family? And it's like, how do you, sometimes when you wake up, you go, how did I get here? Like, how am I this version of me? How am I talking to this guy right now? Right? Yeah. But when you go back and you realize, I was talking to Dick Abbott out there, who's smoking a butt, and we're talking about writing our stories and making art. Dude, that's basically we're repeating that tradition. We're taking on a role. We're seeing a need for ourselves or for society, and we're taking on a role. So why be really under the pressure? I felt my whole life this drive to succeed, not to be rich, but just to get by and to have a comfortable life. But I have a really intense drive to want to do something that's bigger and a contribution. So that pressure gets put on me, like, you're going to write something, and the Dreamers Arcade is going to help people. And then it's like, I don't have kids. It's like, it's my immortality. I've left something.
Your
and
legacy, right?
It becomes part of it. There's lots of reasons that you feel motivated to do it. And then, financially things are tough. And then I was like, it'd be cool if it paid some bills.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking about it and these outcomes and the way that things have happened recently. And I've been thinking about manifestation on top of that.
Yeah.
And why the fuck are we so much under pressure?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard when all these big ideas of the state of the world and how we're going to live as people and how we're going to stop fighting here or there, how we're going to get this country to like this country, historically it never happens. So why are we expecting it to happen? And the fact that it does happen, should it not happen? Should people not be angry or passionate about their beliefs and their change? Should they not fight other people for what they believe? What's the extent of how far people go? But if you look at history, it's just the same pattern. History itself could be like, we should just sit back and relax because we're going to fucking go to war soon. We're going to have a recession, but then it'll all be good again.
History
and it's just going to keep going over and over again, dude.
Well, I wrote a story called Pendulum a while back. And the subtitle to Pendulum that was planned to be on the cover was "Can You Break the Cycle?" And I think the reason this song hit me so hard was because I want to break that cycle. talk about it coming around again, and then it's just going to be good again. Like, why does it have to break so hard for it to come around again? Like, how about we just fix it? Why can't we just fix it? Why do we have to have this cycle repeat?
Well, that might be speaking to you and I as a personality.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to speak for you, but I will say when something shatters on the floor, I know what pieces to glue back together.
Yeah.
So see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we are the worst with time to the point where we go, time doesn't exist. Fuck it. You know, we have our own idea
Well,
to push ourselves away from that construct.
It empirically doesn't exist, but people have created their own constructs.
I know, and it's not really conducive to our brains most of the time. And I lived in a world that didn't acknowledge that stuff. So now I'm allowed to recontextualize all this stuff. So it's not even about, this blows my mind, but I was like, nothing's going to change. It's going to loop. Things are going to go back around. I'm stuck in this kind of endless pattern, but it's not endless because it gets recontextualized all the time by time. And so like, I'll live different, not versions like biologically when we grow, but different narrative loops where I feel like I go back to the same level and challenge something. And I think that's why midlife crises are a thing, because when you're 20, you were probably nostalgic about being a kid. And then when you're in your 40s, you're nostalgic about being in your 20s, like, or at least you remember, not in a way that's like superficial, but it's like, I remember just the layering of those times, because that's the furthest thing but closest thing.
That might be why I grew up so fast, though. I have no nostalgia about. I wanted to get out of that world as fast as possible. That might be why I didn't relate to my peers at the time.
Maybe you were racing too much. Like I can identify with that. And then when you got into the world, like you realized, like, oh, it's not magical. The adult life is cool. You can do whatever you want, you know, within reason, you know, within laws and finances.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're not, because if I could do whatever that aren't within those parameters, maybe. Right? If we could do whatever we want right now, Matt, come on. What would you do right now? If you could do whatever you wanted.
I'd go to Norway and parasail through a few.
So that's what he's doing right now. Fucking guy took off on me. I was going to go grab him and go down to that weird art superstore, supermarket down in Vegas with him, but he's
that's
parasailing out in fucking Norway. We know where
if we could do any.
I was going to drive down to New Hampshire and we're going to take a bus, and we are rich, but we can do whatever we want, dude. But I'm going to take a bus.
We could do anything we want. Anything we want. Like that's we could do that now.
Dude, we're gonna say all this stuff. I would go to Paris. I would climb the Mount Everest. It's like back in the back of his mind. He's like, I could have a Grecian bacchanal where I'm at the forefront. Oh, enjoy me. Oh.
No, what you're suggested.
That's what you're thinking about, not me.
What you suggested was something we could actually do. When I try to think of stuff. If I could do anything, is stuff that I feel like I actually can't do.
Then that's maybe part of getting older. Dream realistically.
Yeah.
Like find the things. I mean, we all get good and bad stuff. Just like that young woman said, "Oh, I wish I would have partied when I missed out on it. Like I'm a dork or something." And it's like, no, you probably have a really nice life and you have a good career. Yeah. And you're sweet and people value you. I was a fucking insane drunk watching people OD and die. It's like, we had our fun, but then everything comes at a price.
Sometimes that price is your life.
Everything that I've ever wanted, it's a double-edged sword, dude.
Oh,
you have to.
This is where this. You connects. Have to. How do you deal with the pressure that you're under? This is where this is connecting.
Yeah, it's how do I deal with the pressure?
What do you do?
I've done it all, pal.
You're a dreamer. That's how you deal with the pressure.
Well, dreaming is good, but sometimes the more realistic your dreams are, the older you get, I think the better they are. I think when I would shoot for the stars and be like, I want something. I'm not saying like I want to fly on a hoverboard, like something insane. I want to go to Mars.
Yeah.
You know, just a trip that there's some stuff that I already know that like isn't gonna happen. You know, like I wanted to snowboard or something when I was 20, and I had dreams about it, and I went a time or two. But now at this age and stuff, I have to set more realistic goals. Like, no, that's probably all set. I've moved on from that. But then I got into this witch dancing thing, and that gives me kind of whoa, bless you. But kicking his ass. He can realistically obtain a sneeze. That's for damn sure.
I think realistically as well.
But it helps because it's like I want getting in shape for snowboarding isn't going to happen, right? But getting in shape for a dance with people of middle age and older and stuff.
There's 45-year-olds in the Navy SEAL.
And it isn't going to be me, dude. There's going to be a 45-year-old man kicking ass in the apocalypse. That's the kind of vibe I have.
It depends
on road dogs.
No, it depends on what
they call us the humanists. They call us the humanists. That's our we're trying to do everything for people. 4 horsemen attack. Let's do it, motherfucker.
It's about
that's what it's going to be like.
It's about where you want to put your energy. It's a choice. Like you can choose to be a Navy SEAL at 45 if you want. You have to. It's a lot of training. You have to put a lot of effort into it, and it has to become your obsession.
Now you're getting to the part that really makes me sad. Here comes the existential dread part.
Yeah, it's well, we choose it. I don't want to do that amount of training. I don't want to, so I'm not going to.
I've chose to be in this area my whole life because I've chose it out of safety and for nostalgic reasons. It's like I have to just say what it is for a lot of times. I can't say like, oh, I would have done this, I would have done this. It's like, dude, you did it. You've been on this path, and that's where you are. And you could step on or off anytime, but it feels like a ride in that respect.
It does. And there's no right or wrong there though either. That's where
you keep going on the same ride.
That's where you don't have to be sad about it. It's like we get put under pressure, and we respond to that pressure in different ways. And some, like for me, I seek out I need coziness when I get too. I seek out games like World of Warcraft where I'm familiar with it, and I escape into it, and I feel good again. And then I can go kick ass after I dissolve the pressure a little bit.
I like to lie on the floor.
Oh, like that might be an ADHD thing because I love laying on a hardwood floor. It's like something so nice about it, actually.
Well, they can be cool this time of year too, but like it's the whole idea why I like the Rise in Mind idea of mining and like that kind of dig dug tie-in. Then the days where you don't want to like be try to be some fucking hero and champion other people's motivation. Some days you're just like I just need to hide underground. I need to go into this blanket. And oh yeah, and that happened. It's funny you bring that up too, and it's like yesterday I felt that pressure. I started the day, and I had a couple customers that had gotten back to me, and I was like trying to set things up. And it's the end of the week, and I'm like, should I go into work or should I wait until Monday? There's all this stuff, and it's constantly like week to week to week, and I'm just keeping things like it's like I'm on a life raft right now, and it has holes, but I got the pump in it, and I'm just like, shit, I got to keep pumping the thing so that I hope I make it to somewhere safe. Dude, that's kind of the current state of my life, and I'm tired it's tough because you'll break every once in a while. You're like, this pump it's not working. I throw it in the water, and then you're like, gotta swim out for it. And like, it's gonna go. I'm gonna get eaten by sharks.
I'm under the pressure of I'm gonna tell a story of what happened with my car. Rear differential, something happened to it. It just stopped working. It wasn't communicating with its console in the computer system, or for the vehicle has to communicate with its own computer system in order to know when to turn on or off the all-wheel drive, because it's got an automatic system. So when that system breaks, you have to replace the entire rear differential. You can't just replace the console for the computer. You have to replace both. So my warranty company was trying to say that it wasn't covered under warranty because it was the computer part that broke. And I said, no, it says right here in the warranty contract that if it's in conjunction with another part, it would be covered because it's in the exceptions part of the contract. And the dealership did not fight for me. They went, oh, whatever, it's not. They said it's not covered. Then they called me. They said that'll be $4,600. I was like, no, this should be covered. And they said, well, we can't work on your car if you're not going to pay. And I said, all right. And then they still made me pay $160, which is the administration fee for the car to even be there. And I was like, fine. So I called my car company, the warranty company, and the dealership, and I said, what is happening here? And this is what I'm so tired of doing. Like, I wish that I made enough money that I just went, oh well, and paid it. But I don't make enough money. I have to constantly fight.
Or you just had someone who like fought for you.
I wish.
Who was like a representative or an assistant. No, an assistant. Like if you were that wealthy, you if you're so far removed from everything, like yard just gets done, banking gets done, house is clean. I'm getting my dick sucked. Let's go.
And that's
Let's go.
That's just well-off money. That's not even like rich. I would love to be a little bit more removed from my stuff. Like even Stacy's getting to the point where her yard work can be outsourced. She's well off enough to do that. What I feel a lot of pressure is when I had to do that, and now the process is now taking almost 3 months to get this fixed. That is what causes me to feel completely under pressure in our society. I feel completely like tense the entire time this is happening. Like, is something going to go wrong? Are they actually going to accept the warranty this time? Like, all this stuff. And I'm so tired of having to fight, like the fighting with these companies that say they're helping you and you're paying for that help. And then they turn around and go, no, actually you have a deductible, like insurance companies. Like health insurance, you have to pay a deductible. All right, okay. So why am I paying out of my paycheck for this if I have to pay this deductible? It feels so. It's pressure. It feels like I still have to pay for all this shit, even though I should be covered. Which I sound like I'm finding myself.
Doesn't make sense.
Like getting a little ranty about this because it's pressure that I feel like shouldn't be there. And sometimes it feels manufactured, which is what I'm really getting to with this story. It feels like these systems,
middlemen. It's just middlemen. Yeah,
these systems are built to keep us under pressure, so that we can't bomb the dia through our lives. Sorry, I'm trying to apply meaning to those parts of the song too.
People get the idea. If they can't figure out the connection, then we're doing it wrong or they're doing it wrong, and that's just their fucking perspective. So, because you can't change shit. No, you're just addressing a lot of the problems that piss people off, and you have to be kind of upset about it because you're trying to initiate yourself to find a solution around it.
I feel bad for the middlemen.
But once you get there after a while,
Sorry, shout out to Crosstown Motors. Gentleman named Chase that's working with me. He's caught in between me and the warranty company. This poor bastard.
It's his job, right?
Yeah, and he probably encounters it a lot, but I've thanked him like 4 times already. Like, dude, like, I'm sorry, we're having to deal with this, and I'm sure the warranty company already like bitched him out because it apparently was something that they got wrong. But I'm not going to blame him because the warranty company should make things more clear. Sorry, go ahead.
Those companies want to make money, not spend money, dude. It's against their business. You want to talk about values and code? See, that's the same thing. Yeah. Those fuckers learn their values and code, and if it's money, then you're gonna have to fight a guy. And if you like want to deal with it or not, it's like, do I want to spend my whole life fighting for this from this friggin' insurance company? Or a lot of these companies just say he's probably gonna quit. It's set up so they get anytime you go anywhere, they're going to throw an answer at you.
So
And that's usually bullshit. And they just throw bullshit at you to get you to leave. But if you don't leave,
dude,
you win. But it's up to you how much you want to stress yourself and how much pressure you want to put for the sake of saving money, which you have to do because you're not rich like me.
That mentality, I firmly believe that mentality came from home security systems in the 50s and 60s. Like they installed.
There's a woman not in the kitchen. Beep 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 beep.
Well, okay, so maybe it was more like the 70s and 80s.
A person of color has entered the neighborhood. No, I'm just trying to figure out what a 1950s alarm system would be.
In all seriousness, it's you make the security system from the 50s and 60s was like padlocks, and like everyone knew that these locks were not complicated or difficult to pick the lock. The thing is, it's the mentality.
Cutters, man. Dude, you could get a big set of bolt cutters and just hit them all. No, didn't say anything, don't promote anything, but it works.
It is the mentality of the... It's the mentality of the common man of making it a pain in the butt. You make it a pain in the butt, a pain in the ass to actually do this thing, then they're less likely to actually try to rob the place or get through the system. Same thing with putting ADT sticker on your front door. You don't even have to buy the ADT service. Just having that sticker is enough.
I had one of those 20 years ago for like a while, and I was like, it didn't matter.
Now insurance companies and all these other people that want to put more pressure on you are making it using the same mentality, the same psychological construct to prevent you from actually using their service and forcing them to give you your money back that you've put into it, because they make it a pain in the ass to do. So it's a preventative measure that's based on your psychology of, I don't want to deal with this. Most people don't even have time to deal with it. They go, whatever, I don't have time.
Well, they're working and they're busy, or they have a family. But some of it too is education. Like not knowing, like I find that's a really tough thing when you don't know like how the process works from the company. The company controls how the process works. And now they're working with somebody else, and they're usually working with a couple different people. So you're already small and you don't want to look like a jackass, and you want to know what you're going to be saying. But if you're going in there cold, they can easily just be like, it's just not right. And if you are suspicious, like, no, that doesn't make sense, I've read this, and the more information you have, you're better off. But so many people go in there and they just like, they don't have the information personally, and they're so easy to be like swept under the rug. Like, nope, can't help you. And the same goes for people that work there. Think about this. They're not geniuses. I used to think people sat behind a desk. Like, everybody must be really smart. But true. I mean, there's some chowder heads, just sitting there like flies spinning around a fucking turd in Farmville in their head.
A farm in
Turdville. Pictures with their grandkids raining down from the sky. Like, it just, it doesn't, they're not there either. So it's like, what if they don't even know how to do their job? Like, I don't know. You could talk to this person, but he's not here. What if it was just that dumb person who was in the office that day who didn't give you the right information? And someone who's like, I'm someone who is really, I'm under a lot of pressure. I have like post-traumatic stress. I have all this stuff that winds me up. So I have to ask Em all the time, be like, oh, they just said that they couldn't do that. And it happens to me where I'm like, and I believe in like my futile, tragic life. So it's my manifestation and my self-fulfilling prophecy where I'm like, hey, oh yeah, there's nothing that can be done for me. No, they said they couldn't do it. I'm so easy to accept that reality too, because of being beaten down. But then, Abso would be like, no, that's not right. They didn't know what they were talking about. And that helped me a lot. Like the idea that the person on the other end of the phone,
I've got friends that do that for me too.
Having a clue. And it helps because I get things mixed up and I'm like, surely, even to this day, and I'll argue and I'll fight for myself, but you can confuse people. You and I get confused, and well, we're smart guys, but sometimes when you're throwing things around, it's like, wait, I don't quite understand what you're talking about and what the process and You know.
What I fall for often is when asked to speak to a supervisor when you're doing a call to a company and you're talking to a customer service representative. You go, I want to speak to the supervisor. And they try to say that the supervisor is going to tell you the exact same thing they told you. And sometimes I'll fall for that. I'll be like, well, that's a waste of time then. And my brain instantly goes, well, that's a waste of time. And I just go, all right, I'll try what you told me to try then. And yeah.
Dude, we should do that be sure about that meme.
Sure about that?
What,
You sure about that?
That'd be great, dude.
Yeah.
You know, my manager's just gonna tell you the same thing. Sure about that?
Yeah.
You sure about that? Just do that.
I think I'm ready for the breath of fresh air. I feel a bit heavy.
Breathe. No, you just give up the pressure.
No more pressure.
It's time for the
Weighing
breath
down on me.
fresh air.
Smack him down on me, baby.
Level 2 of the breath of fresh air.
Why
Why are you in ultra widescreen, sir?
Because I'm ultra thick. I don't know. I'm like awake now, but I'm still like something's off in my brain.
Dude,
I'm switching between like personality classes.
For the breath
or
of
some
fresh
shit.
air, we could talk a little bit about. I want to talk a little bit about how the full moon was powerful last night.
Dude.
I'm a little woo-woo about this because it's fascinating to me how much like nothing is wrong in my life in that moment, and yet my entire personality is like, oh, I feel like shit. Why do I feel so terrible? And then like I hear a bunch of people say, oh, supermoon tonight. You're gonna look at it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I make a conscious effort to spend a lot of time outside. It's very easy to get wrapped up in technology and screens and shows.
Yeah.
But the last few nights, like I always go outside. Another good reason why I do go out and blast butts, because it gets me outside, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna walk around and look at this, and wow, the moon's super bright. But yeah, it's been weird out there the last 3 days from owls. I think it was either an owl fight, and I was talking with the owls, Abso and I, and then like I heard a chicken one morning, and then all of a sudden a coyote just beelined up the road, tap 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 right past me, and I was like, well, I guess that chicken, like I don't know if he was avoiding me or that rooster, but I've heard a lot of wildlife.
Right.
There was a deer, I think, last night, just walking around my perimeter. Yeah, there's been a lot of weird animal occurrences over the last few days in the yard, and I felt pretty wacky, and I was up really late, but I mean, I might have gotten to the gain abyss, so you know that.
I mean, there's a lot of what's funny is people say that the full moon thing is woo woo, and it's not true. It's just a coincidence. But then like, there's a shit ton more police reports during a full moon. And like that could just be because there's more light out because the moon is lighting up things. But even if there's cloud cover, you still get increased police reports. Like you still get increased crime, you get increased domestic violence, you get increased animals get a little weird, like your cats and your dogs will start to act strange. Yeah. Like there's something about it. And it's not scientifically measured. No one's trying to measure it. So, like, I felt like utter garbage all week, and then it got really bad on the day of the full moon.
Which was yesterday? Yeah, I woke up. Dude, in the pressure. Dude, I woke up, and I have to take some medication to really, like, help stabilize my brain. Right. And it sucks because now I think there's a dependency on that. And if I miss it, like I really feel it now because I feel the weight of the ADHD of what it has been doing to me my whole life, and I can suppress that with medication. It's like night and day, and it's like, wow, your head really is fucked up, dude. But I woke up and my motivation was cut down. It was normally on a Monday, I'm like, what am I doing? I got to piece together this week, but I was doing that on a Friday. And I was confused. And then Abso and I were really argumentative yesterday because, like, I felt like I had to do all this work, and I felt like she wanted me to do all this work, and I felt like under pressure about taking a day off. But then we did some Thanksgiving shopping with her mom. I did some errands.
Right.
Then we met up she's like, do you want to go to Hobby Lobby and look at some Christmas stuff? I go, I'm tired and I have a headache and I don't want to go, but I'll go if you'd like to go.
Right.
Just saying, like, I'm not going to be super into it, but let's check it out. But then it was busy. And then I felt like I needed to go home because I had stuff to do. And I was conflicted. And it was creating a lot of tension because I couldn't figure out where I was going that day. And a lot of that pressure I was putting on me through my wife's perception of,
right.
Well, I think she wanted me to go to work today. No, I think she wanted me to hang out today. How can I be two people at once? Brain breaks. And I had a really tough day kind of staying on the line. And I woke up and, like when I'm like that, like tears were welling up in my eyes. It's like, that's that pressure.
Yeah.
It's not even like an emotional response to something tragic. It's just like, dude, how am I going to keep this going? And, but you know what? I've said that a lot. And my dad always said that to me. Like, oh, this is the year that it all falls apart. This is the year. This is it. This is the end. He'd say, like, I'm going to be dead at 40. I'm going to be dead at 50. I'm going to be dead. Well, I guess I'm not going to die. Now he's like 72. I'm never going to die. Yeah. His perspective is flipped, but it becomes part of a ideological path that I'm walking on that my dad has laid in front of me. And then I start to question that at this point, and I'm like, why do I keep saying that if it's not true? And why am I repeating the stuff that my dad said? Because it wasn't true for him. It was just a perspective. And I have to try to remind myself that all the time. Like, how do I get out of this mindset? Because it isn't bad. And I even said that to my dad once. He goes, oh, this is going to fall in this job. Like, he started a job and he was just had that anxiety and that starting job, like, tension. He had that real pressure and he was being hired for it. There was code. There was things that could really come down on him. And as his worker, I could only do the best thing that I could do. And I go, look, Dad, you've been fucking saying this for my whole life. You say this with every job. Every job, it's going to fall in. We're done. And every job that I've ever worked with you, I know you've had stuff in the past before me, but it has never happened. And we've been working together for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And he realized something in that moment. He brought it back to me later. He said, like, you were right. Or my mom might have told me. Usually my dad says something. Yeah, Glenn was right about that. Thing but my mom would be like, yeah, your father said you were right about that thing you said. Like, it does always go right. But I did that for him, dude. But see, I'm still doing it to me. That's what's really fucked up about the whole thing and creating pressure. And so when I was waking up yesterday, like, stressed out, it's like, did it matter? And like the way that everything happened with like elections and stuff recently, it hits people in different ways. But I have to always remind myself, did it change? Did it really change? Like, I'm still here. I'm still talking to you. The lights are on. There's still the centipede. Like, yeah, sure. Like, it can change in a heartbeat. One of us could just be not here anymore. Like, life is just so quick, and we worry about all this stuff that's going to change, and we're not even really paying attention to the fact that things don't change. What is happening? What is important? Where have you been going? It's not all bad, and relax a little bit. Like, the bad man's not coming to your house to throw you out on the streets. Right. You just had a rough go of things, and you need to be ready, CP, for the worst possible situation. And so that's what I'm always doing, because I mean, deep down, I'm like anybody. I think we're all scared about something, life. If you live life without fear, and I say I'm a bad motherfucker sometimes, like, nobody, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'll shut this shit right down. This guy's going to come in with this. And it's like, no, we're going in this direction. Yeah. And I can have like a confidence like that, but it's just funny at the same time. My inner fear
how do you
put me under so much pressure.
How do you release that?
Well, I've tried lots of things throughout the years,
and the breath of fresh air. Like, what are we solutions here?
Well, the bad ones are usually the ones that don't last. And so what you don't want to do, and I still do it to this day, just like how I will remind myself, oh, it's going to be bad, even though I know it's probably going to be fine. The things that just mask your day. That's what you don't, the temporary quick thing. And it's very easy, especially in our culture, to be like, yeah, I'll go get a treat. I'll get a treat. I'll go get a pre-roll. I'll go have a smoke. I'll get some snacks. I'll go to the Burger King, like, oh, maybe I should buy myself something. Maybe I need another. I got 15 of them over there that I haven't written in, but maybe I need a new one for the new year. And I found a lot of that stuff. That's what I would do. A lot of escapist distraction techniques.
Right.
I mean, when you're really having a bad day, sometimes you're spiraling so bad, the distraction is the only thing that's going to get you through it, or sleep. But what you really want to do is something that means something to you, and that's hard. It's hard to find meaning because meaning is a very personal thing, and meaning attributes to what you actually value. And me, if I value art and creativity, it's like that's a bigger force than going out and having a snack or going out for a drink. The treat is so much better, and it'll help you throughout those days. And I find the most stable times I am in my life allow my to remember and to do the things that make me feel like whole, not on just the day-to-day level of like, if I keep doing this, not only is it good for me now, it's better and better and better. Yeah. So one of my biggest things in the last couple of years, it's my little gardening space, because every year I got to maintain it. So it becomes pressure in itself, like, oh, I don't want to lose it. I don't want it to become overgrown, and you're kind of fighting a fight there. But I get so excited, dude, when I'm like, yeah, this is what I did this year, and next year I'm going to put a little thing here, and I build on it every year. And I'm playing my own little Minecraft outside and using things like the leaf blower and uncovering earth, and then seeing like objects that I hadn't seen. That I've lived in this area my whole life. I'm treasure hunting and excavating this place that has no time with me. And I'll be like, oh, weird, this has always been here, or these rocks have always been here. And I'm just dopamine rushing the whole time. But I know it's fun. It's fun instantly, like anything else, like having a drink or, going out and grabbing some ice cream somewhere. You can still get an instant gratification with doing something like parts of it. But when you know that it leads to something bigger, and it gives you one of the most important things, hope that there's going to be a piece of this waiting for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hope that something that you get to be part of, something that has a history, something that you created that grows, something that you realize that you're trying to fuse with nature. And if you died today, it's going to live for a while. It might become overgrown and gone, but that remnant, that thing that I put there, initially it'll be part of me.
Yeah.
And so you see what I'm saying? You get a little, sometimes it's not that big. I don't have to write the new Bible, or reach the whole world. Sometimes you just got to reach your neighbor or your close friend and give them an idea of, I'm going through hard times. It's like, well, what do you like, man? I like being outside. When was the last time you were outside? I don't really get to go for walks anymore. And well, why don't you go do it? And
Yeah.
it's like the answer's always there. And it's very, very quick, and it doesn't have to be so profound. Like
Right.
the legacy of my garden, you know.
That's a great thing to end on, actually. I love that.
Still don't have the cap.
Still haven't found the cap. I mean, that's like, I know I just kind of let you talk there, but you were basically saying points that I was going to bring up as well. That you should just like find yourself in nature more, go for walks.
I mean, if you hate that, we're not saying like this is key for you. If you have horrible allergies, the outside might be a dog shit experience. But it's like
have horrible allergies. This is your time to shine because it's chilly out, but it's not too cold. And the allergies are, and all the stuff that produces the allergens are dying or dead.
And so, like, if you're that person who has to deal with something different than what we say, like, and I always talk about stuff that's out of reach because of money. Well, we don't get to do it all. I mean, even the person who's rich who gets to do what seemingly seems like all doesn't get to experience poverty.
Right.
Doesn't get to experience the struggles. Doesn't get to like start from the bottom, level 1, and try to build it up. There's something to be said about where people start and where people are, because there's always going to be something that they don't have, and they're going to wonder what is that like. So for me, the outside in nature separates myself from the constraints of humanity that I think's gobbling the earth. And then I look at nature and I go, no, man, you're the dinosaur. You're bigger than humanity. You could take us all out.
Right.
So then I'm not worried about humanity anymore. See what I'm saying? I'm like, not that nature, like, oh, that's scary, meteors, but it's like, if that happens, that's along for the ride shit. Like, there's some stuff I can't stop. I can't stop the weather.
How did we get to here from taking a walk outside to a meteor?
Well, it's I always love when I lose him on this stuff. But you
haven't lost me. I'm trying to figure out how it goes with. You think people hate going outside because they might get hit by a flying space rock?
I'm saying like why I personally. Nature helps me because I can tie it essentially into like a higher power and take my gripe with humanity. That's a lot of my personal tension. Like you're dealing with insurance guy and it's like, fuck that guy, you know, whatever. And like you're creating a hierarchy and this guy thinks he's standing over me and this whole company and they're going to squash little Matt. When you have those moments where it's annoying and you're like, there's no hope. This is going to be centuries of this and we're going to destroy the world. Then if you go, wait, what if nature just destroys the world? What if it's a contingency plan? What if humanity just gets wiped off the world? It's like, we're going to give ourselves that much credit? So I use like the outside thing. When I get outside, it's not only beautiful, it's not only exercise, it's not only sun and fresh air and different things you need. It's something that's more powerful than the things that stress me out. Same reason you like a T-Rex when you're a kid, because you're like, my dad's the biggest thing ever, and he could stomp me down, but T-Rex could stomp my dad down. He's more strong. My dad isn't as big as a T-Rex, and you start to create levels of things that are stronger to kind of fight your own personal demons. But if you're someone who can't go outside, then see, that's a whole other can of worms, because like this is just me saying go outside, and those are the reasons going outside helps me on a physical and a psychological level. But you just have to find what works for you. Not everyone's going outside is gonna be the thing. Not everyone, like I said, money wise can travel. We're all gonna be at different places. So find the most obtainable joys for yourself.
Okay.
Simple pleasures, and hold on to them tight. If you know in a hand, if you had to be like, what are the things that I'm going to pick that I really not only enjoy, but I lose myself in, that gives me an inspiration, that gives me a reason to want to keep going each day and to see that project carried out.
Right.
Some people, it's going to be creating a graphic novel like us, and then other people, it's going to be something completely different. And call your own bullshit, man. Because sometimes I wonder about it. The Dreamers Arcade and stuff. I'm working a lot on it. I do a lot of stuff. But some point, I have to be realistic with myself and be like,
Yeah.
do you really want that? Because if you did, wouldn't you be doing it? So there's an assessment.
When I break that down like that, I run into I basically run face first into a really deep hole when I use that logic, because what I actually want to do is nothing. For real, that's all I want to do is nothing. But the amount of work it would take.
Why don't we?
Why don't we? Because we don't want to. I value my comfort, I guess. Like I work really hard so I can be comfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. Is like I work hard just so I can be comfortable. I could technically do nothing, but eventually I would run out of resources and then be living in the woods.
Yeah, why don't we just quit our jobs this week, and no pressure, and let's just start walking. We'll walk down to Vegas, dude.
Yeah.
We'll walk down to Vegas and go to that hotel. But we'll sneak in if we have to. We'll pretend to be security. We'll figure out a way. We'll do it. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how driven can you be? You know, my painting professor helped me realize this. It's always good to know someone a little bit further down the road, and always have someone who's like the decade next to you. You're making a smart move there. You know, you get information. Doesn't mean it's all right, but it's a different perspective and can give you kind of an idea where things might be heading. And he's like the guy just looking out on the next level. And he said something like, I want to do this to his best friend. I want to create this graphic novel. I want to work on my art.
Right.
And his friend goes, no, you don't want to do that, Pete.
Right.
And he goes, what are you talking about? He goes, because if you really wanted to do it, you'd be doing it now. You wouldn't be sitting around here in this apartment smoking pot with me. It's like,
if you think on a smaller scale like that, that's true.
It's like, so like, don't bullshit yourself too. Like, we're put in this position of this pressure where we feel like we have to do sometimes bigger things.
Do bigger things. Let's not let the pressure get to us.
But the Dreamers Arcade, maybe I don't see it as like the big legacy that it is, and I just spend time enjoying the day-to-day making of it to where it builds in me, and it's not a pipe dream somewhere, you know?
Sometimes the project that you're trying to be the main project is actually just a playground for your smaller projects.
Yeah, I found that kind of cross-pollination and meandering. So you definitely, the process is important. Any advice, just do, and just try to figure out those things that you lose that time in, because it's hard. It's hard to like ask anybody. It's like, what really brings you joy? What really makes you happy? And a lot of people don't even understand the tangible nature of what joy is. They're just like, like you said at your other job, I just work, I just drink, I go to work. Like I'm a machine, man. This is what I'm a tool of this company, and I don't want to deal with the reality of that. And it's sad. There's a lot of situations like that, and the pandemic was very eye-opening for a lot of people, where it's like, why do I do this job every day? Or why, like, I'm so much more fulfilled just making a breakfast here, like in silence. And
I love that. Yeah, that's what really opened my eyes to what I really want out of life. Do you have any final thoughts? I'd have to wrap it up here.
Yeah, the pandemic kind of helped break the mold. It was something that anytime you think you know what's going to happen in life, you don't. There's been a lot of things that I can easily predict. People are going to grow old. They're going to die. You're going to lose people randomly. People are going to get sick. We all know the normal things that happen. We've been seeing them for ages, and you don't know when and where and if. So you can be ready for stuff, but don't put that pressure of the inevitable and that anxiety on you all the time. Realize you just have to get through today. And if you can do something today that gets you excited about tomorrow, that's even better.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do anything today because it's Saturday
Okay to do
and you
nothing
want to
today.
lie around, yeah, you want to do nothing. I don't know if I'm going to do shit today, dude. I might have one of the laziest days ever because I had a really stressful day the other day. I didn't get a lot of sleep. But maybe, what do I really want out of the day? You got to ask yourself and be a little selfish. And I feel like watching a stupid movie.
I
Like,
think he's
yeah,
having
if I
a
was
lazy
gonna,
day.
if I was gonna say whatever, and it's like I don't have to worry about all my jobs or the customers today. I don't have to worry about what the next state of the world's gonna be like. I don't really. That is my choice, and that pressure isn't healthy for me because it's gonna drive you to do impulsive stuff if you're not careful. So don't let the madness take you over. Yeah.
I'll let the madness do whatever it wants.
Oh yeah.
I am.
Macho Man says you're gonna be a little under pressure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pressure's gonna come down on you. Dum dum dee bop. Hey, sada bee bop.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that,
Yeah.
and,
Under pressure. Yeah. All right.
weighing on the cat here. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, CP. You said so much stuff better than I could say myself. I wasn't forcing myself into those points because you definitely right on
That's
the
a
head
babble.
there.
It's a babble fest, dude. I've just been doing it longer than you.
No, what I mean is
I just downshift into mode ideological stage 3.
like if you say something that I feel
under
like
pressure.
doesn't fit with what we're talking about, I will try to steer it, but I didn't need to there.
No, you tried, but I can always see the light. Hey, love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We got fans today, and I appreciate that. I see
today.
you guys taking your time. That means a lot. Like I hope
we have a good amount of dropped frames there, so we have to wait for it to catch up here.
Oh,
Got some
but
happening.
I'm sure Matt can agree. We're trying to help you guys through helping us. We're all just trying to figure it out in real time, and that's what everybody does, man. And we got to figuring out together is a little more easy. I like being out of my head and hearing it, blah, 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 blah. And if it helps you guys, then I really makes me grateful that I've contributed even a little bit.
Retro games with Sharpie.
Retro game with Sharpie. He's one of New Englanders. Maine's own Sega champ. Let's go say hi to Sharpie.
Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Much love.
I'll find the pen cap soon. Don't worry. Don't be under pressure. Pressure.
Matt hasn't caught up.
Pressure. Under pressure.
Be well, everybody.
Pressure.